Have you ever really stopped to think about how that video on your phone actually gets there? I mean, there are no wires connecting it to the internet, but boom, there it is. It's kind of wild, right? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible magic that powers our entire connected world. Wi-Fi.
Okay, so get this. Right now, wherever you are, the air all around you is not empty, not even close. It is absolutely jam-packed with information. We're talking movies, messages, this very explainer, all flying through space as invisible waves at pretty much the speed of light.
You can think of it like a constant, invisible data storm that's just raging all around us. And the thing at the very center of it all, the device that conducts all this chaos into something you can actually use, is that little box with the blinking lights. Your Wi-Fi router. It's like the silent conductor for this massive orchestra of information.
And it's conducting this orchestra at a speed that is just mind-bending. Your Wi-Fi router probably uses frequencies like 5 gigahertz. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying the radio waves it's blasting out are wiggling back and forth 5 billion times every single second. But hang on, how can a simple wave, no matter how fast it's wiggling, possibly carry a complex video file? To wrap our heads around this, let's start with a really great, simple analogy. I want you to imagine that your Wi-Fi router is basically just a really, really fast flashlight.
So, think about sending a message with that flashlight, right? You'd use Morse code, just blinking the light on and off in a pattern. A Wi-Fi router does pretty much the same thing, but instead of blinking a beam of light, it's wiggling a radio wave to represent a digital code, and it's doing it billions of times a second. All right, so the flashlight analogy gives us the basic idea. It's all about patterns. But how does this wiggling of a wave actually turn into the ones and zeros that make up a file? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and break down that technical journey. Okay, it all boils down to 4 key steps. First, that cat video you want to watch exists as binary data, just a long string of ones and zeros that your router grabs from the internet. Second, and this is where the real magic happens, a chip inside the router does something called modulation. It takes that digital code and uses it to slightly change, or modulate, the radio wave. So maybe a taller wave means a 1 and a shorter wave means a 0. Third, the router's antenna transmits these specifically shaped waves out into the air. Finally, your phone's antenna catches those waves and does the exact opposite, a process called demodulation. It reads those tiny changes in the wave and translates them back into the original ones and zeros. And just like that, you're watching a cat play the piano. But here's where the story of Wi-Fi takes a totally wild turn. You see, the core technology that prevents all of our Wi-Fi signals from becoming a hopelessly jammed up mess wasn't cooked up in some Silicon Valley lab. No, it came from a very, very unexpected place. So, take a guess. Who do you think came up with this brilliant idea? A top-secret government engineer? Some early computer genius? The real answer is, well, it's pretty incredible.
That's right, it was the Hollywood actress Hedy Lamarr. Back in World War II, she actually co-invented a system called frequency hopping spread spectrum. The whole point was to guide Allied torpedoes so they couldn't be detected or jammed by the enemy. And that exact same idea, rapidly hopping between different radio frequencies, is what allows thousands of devices in a coffee shop or an apartment building to all use Wi-Fi at the same time without interfering with each other. Amazing.
And hey, speaking of surprising facts, let's just bust a common myth right now. The name Wi-Fi doesn't actually stand for wireless fidelity. It stands for nothing. It was just a catchy brand name a marketing firm came up with because, let's be honest, the technical name, IEEE 802.11b, doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
So from a Hollywood star to a clever marketing slogan, the story of Wi-Fi is just full of these cool surprises. But you know, the biggest surprise of all might be how quickly we've all forgotten what life was like before this stuff existed. The impact of cutting that final cord has been absolutely revolutionary. Before Wi-Fi, if you wanted to use the internet, you had to be physically plugged into a wall with an Ethernet cable. You were literally tethered to one spot. Wi-Fi snipped that cord, and in doing so, it kicked off the entire mobile internet era. It's the reason we have smartphones, smartwatches, smart thermostats, the whole Internet of Things. And this quote really just nails it. Wi-Fi transformed the internet from a place you sit into a utility that simply surrounds you, kind of like electricity or running water. It's not a destination you go to anymore. It's just a part of the environment you're in. So when you strip away all the complexity, the entire magical journey is really this simple. You start with digital information, it gets turned into a wave to travel through the air, and then it's turned back into digital information on your device. from bits to waves and back to bits again. That's the whole game.
And, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? We managed to make information totally invisible and just everywhere. So what's next? Wireless power? Instant transportation? What's the next fundamental utility that's going to one day just disappear from sight and become part of the very air we breathe? Definitely something to think about.